You know, if you see a cutscene during a Souls game, it's bad news.
Non-apologetic news, not what you're used to. Non-apologetic news, telling you the truth. Non-apologetic news, saying what they're scared to. Non-apologetic news, non-apologetic news.
Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to a special edition of Non-Apologetic News. This week is all about Elden Ring, the greatest game in the history of gaming times. I am Travisty, next to me is Body Bag. We are Non-Apologetic News. So, it's been about 2 weeks since Elden Ring came out. Elden Ring, for those who don't know, is made by From Software, the people who made the Dark Souls series. Now, it's a real niche game, right? Not everybody's going to want to play this kind of game. It's super tough. It's just a unique way the game is built. The world, the immersion into it is phenomenal. That's why I was surprised that this is the first game in history to get a perfect score across all platforms. Like, it is 10 out of 10 Game Informer, 10 out of 10 GameStop, 10 out of 10 Amazon reviews. Like, it is absolutely insane. Now, both of us have this game, and you played it a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm nowhere near as far as you.
Right. But you're still a good, 10 hours in it or so?
Yeah, maybe.
So what I've basically done is I'll do my responsibilities for the day, and then I just beast out on this game. Like, it has become an obsession for me. But like I say, it is it is the first game in history to have 100% across the board, which is surprising because it's a Souls series and there's such a barrier of entry to these games, right?
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls 3, right, when you start, if you remember, they literally say this button goes left, this button goes right, this button attacks. Now here's a boss that's going to take you 2 hours to get through.
Right.
And that's the barrier of entry. In order to play these games, you have to do that. Now, they did that a little bit weird in this one, don't you think?
I don't like they give you a little more instruction than
well,
not much, but a little bit more than a Dark Souls.
Yeah, they tell you where to go. They tell you to go to this castle. So it's an open world game. So anybody who knows anything about that, you want to kind of explore around, level your character up for an hour, maybe 2, and then you'll be good. So if you go into there, even after doing that, which is what I did, probably about 2 hours of exploring around, you are severely underleveled for the first real main boss, Margaret the Fell Omen.
Yeah.
I was stuck at this boss for days. Like, I would go and do other stuff in the game for like 3 hours and then come back and still get my ass handed to me. Every single time. So this created like this mass quit amongst the people who are like, oh, this is a new game, Elden Ring, what's that? Sounds great. And then they go and they realize this is still a Souls game and you have to earn your way into the entry of the actual game, right? So what we have here is I want to show people exactly what we're talking about. So here's the cinematic as you walk into what, I think it was my third boss, but what should be the first boss of the game. You know, if you see a cutscene during a Souls game, it's bad news.
Prepare to get your ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
These games are so awesome. Right when he did that, I thought he was going to be slow because of the chain. And then, yeah, right when he did that, I was like, oh, holy hell, this guy's actually going to be quick as well. Nothing worse than a quick Souls boss.
Someone must extinguish thy flame.
Now, I've seen this, and this guy playing is actually, you know, he does a decent job, but it gives you an accurate representation. He doesn't do great, and he doesn't do horrible. But this boss can kill you depending on your level in, like, 2 hits, you know? And I remember I finally got him to the halfway point where he changes into a second phase.
Yeah.
And then there was just nothing to do at that point. He just murks me once he pulls out his great hammer. The problem is you have to hit him like 100 times and he only has to hit you 2 or 3 times. Like, look at that guy's health bar, first off. That's like my health bar now, so... I mean, he might be through his second run. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, that kind of gives you a little bit of losing frames here, a little bit of a taste of what this is kind of like. It is very frustrating, right?
Yes, very.
But when you get through it, it's so satisfying. It is just, it's great. And it's basically a culmination of every Souls game. Your 3 Dark Souls, your Bloodborne, they took everything good, maybe a little Sekiro, but they took everything good, and this was like their nod to the community. And really, if you explore this game, like, I think there's only a handful of main bosses, but like every time I reach a new region, I explore the whole map. It is full on new worlds, underground worlds as big as the top, villages, castles, and each of those have like their own bosses and maybe even a second boss. And most people will never even find those. Like, you're going to find stuff I don't find. And if you would tell me any of those spots are like real game, like that's part of that's a main game level, let's call it, I would believe you, because they put so much work into these hidden little like towns of sorcery and like crazy demon filled or invisible enemy filled areas. And, try fighting an invisible boss. It's absolutely insane. Now, they do have a cool thing. Like I say, everybody's path is different. Like, if you play as magic or if you play strength build like I do, everybody's definitely going to look different. There's thousands of different gear combinations as far as swords, shields, magic, bows. I'm using like a hammer, which has like worms that stick out of it.
Yeah.
But them worms hurt. But for online play, they do have a cool thing. So if you're stuck at a boss, you can summon like another real player at their home. If they lay down their sign there, you can bring them into your game for just that boss round, right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, if you summon, you didn't really beat the boss. I'm okay with summoning, especially if this is your first Dark Souls series, because otherwise you're not going to get through it.
Yeah, I had to with old fucking Margaret here. They give you one through the game.
Yeah, the NPC.
So you use him, and then an actual person to fucking beat this big bitch.
See, I've probably fought like, I don't know, 25, 30 bosses, and I've summoned like 5 times, and I'm completely fine with that. And then also, someone can invade you. So you might be just traveling through the world, having a hell of a time getting through, and it'll come up, you've been invaded by, finger licking good 22, and then you're blocked off to a certain restraints, and now you have to fight him, and it takes a certain kind of player to do invasion, so chances are that player's going to kill you. That's what's going to happen, And they also have bloodstains if you're playing online, so if you they're working now too. If you touch a bloodstain, it'll show you the real character who died there, the other player, and how they died. It won't show you what they're fighting, but it will show, like, okay, if you're about to make a jump, you think there's something hidden over there on that ledge, but you don't know for sure, and you see a bunch of bloodstains, you can see the angle they jumped, and maybe you don't go that route.
Right.
And I think that kind of stuff is great. I've yet to do invasions, but I'm about to. I have helped people with a few bosses, gone to bosses that I feel comfortable with. And, I think the whole system is just great. But, like, speaking of bosses, you could be stuck for hours. This was one of the hardest bosses I've been through so far. There was one more called the Draconic Tree Sentinel. So he's like that guy at the first, the tree man,
Oh, yeah.
The guy on the horse right when you start the game. But he's so much worse, and I could not get through him. I even tried to summon, but it's a horseback battle, and when you summon, you can't fight on your horse. So, like, it was us on the ground just getting stomped. So I thought, Travis, you have ashes, and I have an ash where it's like the jellyfish, but it's a dog, and it'll apply rot to him. So I sit the dog on him. It took me like 5 tries to get him poisoned before he died. And then there's a little place on the side of this castle that you can hide from that boss, but he'll still like fire lightning at you and stuff. But if you can dodge it for long enough, the poison wind up taking everything but like 3 to 5 hits off of him. So I was like, all right, I got this. So I hop on my horse, I run in, charge, die. And this happened like 10 more times. Eventually I straight cheesed the boss. I poisoned him and I hid, but I kind of think the developers wouldn't have put that little nook there if it wasn't a valuable option. But complete it however you want to complete it. It is a great game. I think this whole thing is amazing. Like I say, the beginning was weird, and there were a bunch of launch day issues.
Yeah.
They had over 1 million people online at one time.
Crash the servers and shit.
Did you have trouble logging in?
Yeah, when I first played for a minute, yeah.
Yeah, I had trouble today logging in. I'm playing offline right now. But yeah, there's just so many people, and I think this is great because this was supposed to be their last hurrah into the Soul series. But if people buy this and people are interested, we're going to get DLCs. We're going to get more, and I mean the content in this game. Just what I've found is like it's probably about the same as Dark Souls 3. It's just structured different, but it's definitely like 2 or 3 of Dark Souls 1, hands down, easy. I think I'm near the end, though. Like, everything's coming to a head. I think I've gotten the major bosses, except for one I couldn't find. Hidden somewhere. He's out of my reach. But, yeah, I think I am near the end, so we'll see how it actually winds up for me. But there are so many areas. And like I say, this isn't filler like Assassin's Creed, where it's like copy and paste forward, or you go and talk to someone. They want you to go to someone else. When you go to them, they want you to travel to a cave. Or no, it's none of that. Every little extra area seems like there's a complete underground area the same size as the top area. Plus there's caves. Everywhere has bosses. Like, I have a list on my phone. It's probably, I would say, about 10 let's see. Every time I find a boss that I know I'm no match for, I'll write it down. So I have right here, Underground and boss Ansel River Well, Crystallium boss in Cave Rhea Lucardia, Magnum boss, Hero Side Tomb boss, Divine Tower of Cassilus boss Godskin. There's like 10 or 15 right there that I know I'm no match for, and I don't want to summon for every boss. You know what I mean? So, and some bosses you just rinse too. Like, I'm at a level now where there's some bosses I go in and I just whack them a couple times with my worm hammer, and that's it. And that's what's great. I also have an axe that I've upgraded to like plus 18, and the axe is quicker, but the worm hammer, if you can hit them with it, it'll stun them. So they'll get stun locked. Wham, wham, wham. Oh, and we're able to share items. Like I said, I had gone into a co-op with someone, and I was able to drop an item, so I don't see any reason why you couldn't pick that item up. So like I say, send me your stats, or even if anybody's listening and you're newer in the game and you're having some trouble, and you're a PlayStation user, that is, hit me up. We'll do a co-op or something. I'll give you my PlayStation Network name. It's Travisty 417, Travisty 417. Just get at me. I'll give you a sword or some rubles or something, make the thing a little bit easier for you, because as many people as we can get into this, that's what I want. I mean, that is completely amazing. Now, a lot of people hate this part of it, but in a Dark Souls game, I don't think you're going to get through the whole game without having to look something up.
Oh, yeah.
Without having to Google. We were discussing before the show started, after this boss we played the video for, you get a great rune. It doesn't tell you this, but you now have to go activate the great rune. It A, doesn't tell you where it is, and B, it's even if you know where it is, getting to it is insane. This reminds me of like a 90s game, like maybe like a Final Fantasy or something, where you'd have like that 150 full colored page guide.
Yeah.
That's what you need, because the problem is you might Google something and then accidentally read something, and now you know like what the final boss is or something, and no one wants that sort of nonsense.
Oh.
But there just is so much to do in this game. And like I say, I think it's absolutely endless. So if anyone's on the fence of playing Elden Ring, get a copy. It is worth your $60, because if you play through the whole game, you're going to wind up getting like, I don't know, it's going to be like 75 cents an hour or something. Like, it's going to cost you absolutely nothing. And if you refer to one of our last 2 episodes, you'll see a way that you and your buddy can buy the game and get the whole thing for half off.
Yeah.
Now, what is the hardest part that you've had that you think? I mean, like, what's the most frustrating thing for you?
Oh, besides Margaret here. Well, Patches, he was a bit of a bitch, too.
Oh, you fought him? Yeah. Oh, you mean down below?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll make more appearances than, like,
and
we were
then
talking
I fucking went to go open the chest, and he sent me off to
the
fucking bullshit forest with the 30-foot bears and
the trap, the chest. Yeah, right there. Did you find the river well? That's like right there where he sends you.
I don't know.
It's like a building, and then it's actually, I think it's on your map. It's not like marked. But if you go up to it, you hit a lever and it takes you way down, and that's one of those underground worlds.
I don't think I found that then.
I can send you locations on the map, but it's definitely something you want to do because I found like 3 different entrances and they're huge pieces of like content. And one of them you need to do to get to a certain point when a certain item you need to do something with. And that's another thing. You get hundreds, if not thousands of items. And I don't know what half of them do even after reading the description. And then the ones I need, I can't get. It is insane. But yes, Elden Ring is out now. We have been waiting years. And, the first 2 hours of gameplay, I was a little upset. I was like, this isn't leading up to the hype. But now, I think this game is absolutely perfect. It gets a 9.8 from me. And yes, we devoted this entire episode to Elden Ring. And I don't think we could have spent a better 20 minutes.
Nope.
Now, we will be back next week. That is next Wednesday. I am Travisty. Next to me is Body Bag. Please subscribe. We will see you next time.
Non-apologetic news. Non-apologetic